Yo, B Marsh Boxing back at it. We back at it one more again, man. This is top five dead or alive. Now you should go check my playlist out. I got a top five dead or alive. I'm gonna go through every division, man, from top to bottom, from heavyweight to strawweight, and find out who the top five dead or alive best fighters of that division are. You know what I mean? Of each division, from heavyweight to strawweight. I've done one already. I've done one on the heavyweights. Now we on to the cruiserweights, which was actually much harder than the than the heavyweights. You know what I mean? But let's get into it without further ado. Number five for me personally, man. I think I gotta put the man Jean McMormack. You know what I mean? Jean McMormack got to be up there as a top five cruiserweight of all time. If you don't have him in your top five, you better have him in your top 10. Mike Mormack was a good fighter. You know what I mean? A lot of people might remember him from getting knocked out by David Hay, stopped by David Hay. But don't forget, he put David Hay on the canvas too in that fight. But it's to me, his claim to fame was to me that fight he had versus what's his name for undisputed O'Neal Bell. Although he lost it, he did avenge that loss. You know what I mean? He got KO'd by O'Neal Bell. He was on the ropes. He was getting tagged up. You know what I'm saying? But he did his thing. He got stopped on his feet. But he came back in a rematch and he beat him on points. You know what I mean? He got the decision victory over him. You know what I mean? But the first fight was for undisputed, which O'Neal Bell won. You know what I mean? But to me, why I put this guy GMAC Mormick up there, because he got a Hall of Fame on his resume, man. And these are the criteria, in my opinion, that make you go to the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying GMAC Mormick's a Hall of Fame famer, but for my top five dead or alive, that's definitely criteria right there. That's what he put David Hay on the canvas. You know what I'm saying? But David Hay beat his ass though. But it was a great fight. But the man beat Virgil Hill twice. You know what I mean? That got to count for something. You know what I'm saying? He also beat Wayne Braithwaite. Braithwaite was the guy from Guyana. He was a long time champion, at least for with that BC belt. He had that from 2002 to till 2005. He beat a long reigning champion. So I gotta give it to Jean McMormack, you know what I'm saying? Those fights he had with O'Neal Bell, those are classic fights at cruiserweight. As a matter of fact, he was the first man to unify titles at the cruiserweight division since Evander Holyfield had done. You know what I mean? When he unified with when versus Wayne Braithwaite. You know what I mean? He took that WBA title off of the WBA title. He took off of Virgil Hill at 155 and 100 and cruiserweight. You know what I mean? So you got to give it up to Jean McMormack. You know what I'm saying? And David Hay eventually dethroned him. You know what I mean? And he moved up to heavyweight. He beat guys like Frazer Quendo. But his most memorable fight was probably versus Vladimir Klitschko, in which he lost by got knocked out in the fourth round. But nevertheless, I give Jean McMormack definitely top five. You know what I mean? Just the way the man the man avenged that loss for the undisputed title. You know what I'm saying? Um, in the rematch with O'Neal Bell, the IBF title was not on the line. I think the man had to fight. O'Neal Bell passed up his mandatory. He had to fight the man Steve Cunningham, if I'm not mistaken. Either Cunningham or Adamic, and he decided to go ahead and try get that payday versus G McMormick in France. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why the fuck he went to France. You know what I mean? Because the first fight was it in France? Yeah, both fights, if I'm not mistaken. Now the first fight was in the United States at MSG. O'Neal Bell, you know, I think O'Neal Bell, man, he should have said fuck that shit. I'm not going to France to fight you. But anyways, that's my number four. Number five. I got Ancelet Wamba. Ancelet Wamba. Now a lot of people might not be familiar with this guy. I am, man, because I follow enough African fighters from days back, from the past, present, and in the future. You know what I mean? Ancelet Wamba. Look at that man's physique. This guy was a monster at 100 at cruiserweight. You know what I mean? 53 wins. Um, You know, the man, what was his record? I'll tell you his record. Give me one sec. Wamba. He only had two losses. That's what I do know. And those two losses are controversial. This guy could have ended his career undefeated. 46 wins, two losses, and one draw. You know what I mean? You check it. You know, Ansel Wamba, man, he had that WBC title, man. He had that title for years, man. I'm saying, I'm talking about years from like 1990 till 95, a good 5 stretch where this guy was unbeaten. You know what I mean? He beat guys like Ricky Parkey, former IBF Cruiserweight champion. You know what I'm saying? But his most classic fights with this guy right here that you see right here, this Italian flopper. Reason I call this guy a flopper, he's the only guy I've ever known to win a world title via disqualification. You know what I'm saying? Complaining Carlos DeLeon hit him in the Bozak. You know what I'm saying? He was crying about being hit low. And, you know what I'm saying? He also, he retained his title too. You know what I'm saying? Via Ansel Wamba being disqualified for, apparently, the guy was doing his best acting flopping job talking about he got hit low. But this Ansel Wamba guy from the Congo, based out in France, this guy was a mean dude, man. This guy was a prolific fighter, you know what I mean? Reason I put him in the top five that are alive, because arguably he should have no losses on his record. He should be undefeated, you know what I mean? The one disqualification against Ansel Wamba, that should have not been a disqualification. That fight was in Italy, and this guy, Massimiliano Duran, he got the hometown decision, you know what I mean? But it don't matter. They had a trilogy eventually, and Ansel Wamba, he stopped this guy twice in the 11th round, you know what I'm saying? So to win the WBC Cruiserweight and retain it, you know what I mean? So like I said, man, and he also beat guys like Andrew Maynard, he was a former gold medalist in the Seoul Korea 1988 Olympics, so that's a good win for him right there, you know what I mean? So till 94, 1990 till 94, Ansel Wamba was a long reigning champion, and in my opinion, I put him up there as a top five, dead or alive, cruiserweight of all time, you know what I mean? A guy who arguably should be 50 and 0. You check it, this man should really be 50 and 0, retired as what you call it, an undefeated fighter. You know what I'm saying? Ansel Wamba is definitely a top 10 dead or top five dead or alive cruiserweight in my opinion. Already then, number three, I gotta give it to none other than Carlos De Leon. You know what I mean? Sugar de Leon. Sugar De Leon, this guy from Puerto Rico, slick fighter, you know what I mean? This guy, I believe, is like a four-time cruiserweight champion, WBC only, nothing more, nothing less. He beat the first inaugural ever cruiserweight champion of the world, a guy by the name of Marvin Camel. I mean, he beat him. You know what I'm saying? Stopped him in, I believe, 7 or 8 rounds. You check it, and matter of fact, that was in the rematch. They fought twice. The first fight was controversial, kind of close fight, you know what I mean? Could have gone either way, but he won that on points. You know what I'm saying? Carlos De Leon to win the WBC title. And then he did the rematch versus Camel, and he stopped him in about 7 or 8 rounds, you know what I mean? But Carlos De Leon was a slick fighter, you know what I'm saying? Very good fighter, one of the best cruiserweights of all time, you know what I mean? 53 wins, 8 losses. Um, and 33 knockouts, you know what I mean? So gotta give him his credit. Like I said, four-time cruiserweight champion of the world, you know what I mean? He beat guys, guys like, Marvin Camel. He lost to a guy by the name of S.T. Gordon, but he eventually avenged that loss. I remember he also stopped Leon Spinks, you know what I mean? Just like a lot of cruiserweights did, like Dwight Kawhi Muhammad, you know what I mean? He knocked out Yaki Lopez. You check it, Yaki Lopez was involved in a great fight versus what you call it, um, um, Matthew Saad Muhammad, one of the best fights ever. I believe 1980 Fight of the Year. You know what I mean? But the most memorable fight probably from Carlos De Leon, what people are familiar with him, was when he got stopped by Evander Holyfield. You know what I mean? You check it. I believe that's when Evander Holyfield became undisputed. You check it. Evander Holyfield had the WBA title. He beat off Dwight Muhammad Kawi. Then he had the IBF title. He beat off of Ricky Parkey. Then he, for undisputed, he beat um, Carlos DeLeon, you know what I'm saying? He got Carlos DeLeon got stopped in 8 rounds, you know. So I gotta put him up there, you know what I'm saying? He also had a draw with Johnny Nelson. He eventually lost his title in his fourth go around to Massimiliano Duran. That's the guy Ansel Wamba eventually beat in the second fight to become the WBC champion. So you got to put the man. Um, I got to put the man Carlos De Leon up there. Slick Puerto Rican fighter. You know what I mean? Wasn't the most entertaining fighter, but to me, I like pure slick boxing. You know what I'm saying, so I gotta give him his credit. You know what I mean? I put him as number three, top 10, top five, dead or alive at cruiserweight. Okay, no question about that. Carlos De Leon, four-time WBC cruiserweight champion. My number two guy, I gotta give it to Usyk. Gotta give it to Alexander Usyk, the quickest man to ever get a world title at cruiserweight at 10-0. Former gold medalist, you know what I mean? He's a gold, not former, he's a gold medal Olympian, you know what I'm saying? From I believe 2012 Olympics, you know what I'm saying? He beat guys like Joe Joyce also in the amateurs. This guy Alexander Usyk is that's one of the reasons he's in the top three pound for pound or top two pound for pound currently right now as I make this video. Alexander Usyk is a vicious fighter, you know what I mean? Very skilled, he can do it all, you know what I'm saying? He can box, he can brawl if he has to, you know what I'm saying? He just basically fights at his own pace. He controls the pace. And he's a very good pacemaker for his skill set. You know what I mean? Guys like this guy, like I said, 10-0, and he was a champion. You know what I mean? He beat Glowacki, the IBF, what was it, WBO champion who had beat Marco Huck, long-time reigning Marco Huck. You know what I mean? He beat Tabisa Machuno, a very good fighter at cruiserweight. Very good fight he had with Michael Hunter. He even beat Marco Huck, matter of fact, in the World Boxing Super Series quarterfinals. You know what I mean? I believe that was in the first round of the World Boxing Super Series. You know what I'm saying? He knocked out Tony Bellew in devastating fashion. You know what I'm saying? He beat Murat Gassiev to become undisputed. You check it at cruiserweight, you know what I mean? And he did that in his 15th fight, 15-0. And this guy um, was already undisputed, you know what I mean? So I gotta give him his credit, man. Alexander Usyk is definitely number two in my opinion as top five dead or alive greatest cruiserweights of all time. I don't think there's any dispute in that, you know what I mean? We check it. Let's see who we got next. And finally, if you don't know who number one is, I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. But number one for me is Evander Holyfield. None other than Evander Holyfield, a guy who started his pro career at light heavyweight, went all the way up to heavyweight. And this was his first fight right here with the white Muhammad Kawi. Classic fight, you know what I mean? A fight that could have gone either way, you know what I'm saying? But the man he tested himself early. I believe at 12-0, you know what I mean? He was the earliest, the quickest man to ever become a world champion at cruiserweight till Alexander Usyk broke that at 10-0. But Alexander Usyk ain't fight no Dwight Muhammad Kawi for his first title, man. You know what I'm saying? He ain't fight this guy, Dwight Muhammad Kawi. They call it junior heavyweight championship back in the G. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that the max, you couldn't be past 190 pounds back then. You know what I'm saying? Now the max is 200 pounds, But Evander Holyfield, like I said, this fight could have gone either way. It's a heavyweight, it's a cruiserweight classic, no question about it. The man, Holyfield went on to beat guys like Henry Tillman. You know what I mean? He stopped him in 7. He beat guys like Ricky Parkey. You check it for that IBF title. You know what I mean? Now he's unified in his 15th fight. You know what I'm saying? He beat Ozzy Ocasio. You know what I'm saying? Very good Puerto Rican fighter who would be fighting in cruiserweight or the heavyweight divisions, either or. And he beat Dwight Muhammad Kawi in the rematch. He knocked him out in 4 rounds, you know what I mean? Knocking out Dwight Muhammad Kawi in the 80s, that's a tremendous feat. And Evander Holyfield did that, you know what I mean? And then he stopped the big Carlos De Leon, you know what I'm saying, in 8 rounds. Beat guys like James Tillis. But I believe that was a more at heavyweight. After he beat Carlos De Leon, he moved up to heavyweight, you know what I'm saying? So, Evander Holyfield is the best ever, in my opinion, at cruiserweight. Evander Usyk is second, and that's mostly because Evander Holyfield, man, he fought some dangerous fighters in order to get that WBA title. You know what I'm saying? Dwight Muhammad Qawi is one of the best fighters I've ever seen, me personally. For a guy that size and height, the way he dominates with his jab, you know what I'm saying? This guy is was a tremendous fighter, and that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. And that's what I gotta give credence and credit to the guys beating Hall of Famers. That's why I put GMAC Mormack in my top five. He beat Virgil Hill twice. You know what I'm saying? A guy who's currently in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Quicksilver. So we gotta give these guys their credit. And Evander Holyfield, in my opinion, is the number one greatest cruiserweight of all time. Now some may ask, damn, B Marsh, why you put GMAC Mormack up there, but you ain't put um David Hay. David Hay ain't beat no Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? He beat Mormack, took two straps off of him, and then he beat Enzo Macronelli. But David Hay ain't fight guys like Steve Cunningham or Thomas Adamek, who I believe was the IBF champion at the time. You know what I mean? If David Hay had gotten that IBF title to become undisputed, no question about it, he'd be in my top five, dead or alive, at cruiserweight. You got also guys like what's that Cuban name? The Black Panther, Juan Carlos Gomez. You know what I mean? A guy from the late '90s, early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? A guy who went up to heavyweight. He was dominant, man, undefeated at 100 at cruiserweight. You know what I'm saying? Didn't really have no names, but he had like 10 title defenses of his WBC title. But like I said, didn't really have no recognizable names. You know what I mean? Um, but you could definitely put him in the top 10. You got other guys like excuse me, Marco Huck. Marco Huck was a long-time reigning champion too with the WBO title at cruiserweight. You know what I'm saying? Even went up to challenge himself at heavyweight versus Povetkin. You know what I mean? So the man Marco Huck was a long-time reigning champion. So with mad title defenses, I believe he's tied with Johnny Nelson with 13 title defenses at cruiserweight. You know what I'm saying? But he falls short of my top five, dead or alive, because he ain't better than Ansel Wamba, Mormek, Usyk, and all these guys that I very good champion at cruiserweight. One of the best fights you'll ever see at cruiserweight was him versus James Toney. You know what I mean? That was a great cruiserweight fight. This guy Vasily Girov went up to heavyweight and he ruined Joe Messi, undefeated Joe Messi. You know what I'm saying? So, there's numerous other guys up there. Wayne Braithwaite was a good fighter too. Go watch Wayne Braithwaite versus Guillermo Jones. I love them fights, man. Johnny Nelson also has numerous title defenses too, but I thought he lost to guys like Guillermo Jones. You know what I mean? I thought he had some gift decisions at cruiserweight. So he falls short of my top five, dead or alive. So there you have it. B Marsh Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments. If you're new to the channel, please share and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about these top five, dead or alive. I see some guys in the chat. What's happening? Mike 104 says, I was the happiest fan when Paul Williams emailed me after I bought a t-shirt from Paul Williams Foundation for spinal cord research. I hope the champ is doing well. That's what's up. Funny dude, man, and I was always a fan. Back then till now, I'm always a fan. Super Trondon says, what's up, fella? Would you mind if I smack your face real? Shut the fuck up, Super Trondon, whoever the fuck you are. I'm gonna block your bitch ass. Pussy. Don't fuck with cornballs like you, man. Man here doing a nice video. You come in here with some old faggot shit. Anyways, yeah, I did get dude off. Mike 104. Enough respect, man. Now you see some people, man, they just I don't know what's up with them, man. But yeah, man, this is B Marsh Boxing, top five dead or alive. I'll run it back from number five, Jean Mac Mormack. Number four, Anselet Wamba. Number three, Carlos DeLeon. Number two, Alexander Usyk. And number one, none other than Evander Holyfield. B Marsh Boxing, leave your thoughts and comments.